Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is December 1st, 2024, and today we're going to be talking about an injury update, more specifically, Alejandro Balde and why Dani Olmo did not play. Also, we're going to talk about the reactions of Hansi Flick and Raphinha to Barcelona's disastrous loss against Las Palmas. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and as you probably know by now, I'm currently out of the country, away from my YouTube studio. This is why I'm bringing you this short live stream. This is not a podcast, so it won't be long. Also, I'm not going to be addressing the chat section. This is just to keep you up to date on all Barcelona news, because even though I am on vacation, the club does not start. And I haven't said all that. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids Get Back or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are in the description. Now, let's begin with the news, because today, ladies and gentlemen, we did suffer a scare when we saw Alejandro Balde being stretched off the field after a very hard clash with Sandro, the former Barcelona player, the former academy player out of Barcelona. And it seemed that Alejandro Balde had received a blow to his trachea, which made it very difficult for him to breathe. We saw him struggling to get his breath. We saw him coughing. As such, he ended up being stretched off the field, and he ended up being subbed off with Gerard Martin. Well, now we do have an update that Alejandro Balde has recovered from that blow. That was simply a blow to his trachea. It made it difficult for him to breathe. He's not injured. He is fully recovered, and he will be available for the next match, which, if I'm not mistaken, is against Mallorca. Now, speaking of injuries, as you know, one of the players that was surprisingly missing from today's lineup was Dani Olmo. He did not even come off the bench, and Hansi Flick was asked in the post-match press conference what went on with Dani Olmo, and Hansi Flick explained that Dani Olmo was having some discomfort, some muscular issue, so they decided to rest him as not to risk an injury, and that he hoped, not that he will be, Flick hoped that Dani Olmo will be available for the next match. Now, this is starting to become a big problem, because Dani Olmo, the star signing of the summer, spent 60 million euros on him. Yes, whenever he's played, he's been spectacular, assisting, scoring, just completely helping the attack, making Barcelona more vertical, a lot more dangerous. But what's the point of having a dangerous player, a star player, someone who costs us so much money, if we can only play him one match and then have him injured for the next 10? This is starting to become a big problem. I hope Barcelona can find a way to make him stronger, to make him not as much injury prone. But if this continues, we're going to have to start considering other options, because we cannot be relying on a player that's only available 1 out of 10 matches because he's constantly injured. Anyways, maybe I'm just being negative because of what happened with the match against Las Palmas, but I'm not liking at all what's going on with Dani Olmo in his constant injuries, where he has spent more time injured than he has on the actual field. Now, speaking of the match against Las Palmas, we do have to talk about the post-match press conference that Hansi Flick made, where he was asked, what happened? Why did Barcelona lose? And this is what the German coach had to say. We didn't play well. The team tried to get a good result, but today was not our day. We were not effective and did not take advantage of the chances we had. We created some chances in the second half, but we usually create more. So Hansi Flick, as always, just being honest about his opinion, not trying to find excuses, not trying to justify the fact that Barcelona had a lot more possession than Las Palmas, that we had a lot more shots. None of that matters. He simply said we did not play well. Yes, we created some chances, but we usually create more, and as such, we lost. Simple. Last season, we would have been told, oh, we had more shots, therefore we deserve to win. No, just because you had more shots doesn't mean you deserve to win, because you can have a million shots if you cannot convert any of them. What's the point? So Hansi Flick, keeping it pretty straightforward, pretty honest. We didn't play well, therefore we didn't win. And then Flick was asked about, what's going on. Barcelona have dropped points in 3 consecutive matches, and this is what the German had to say, when we control the games, when we have that situation, we are able to play well and generate chances. But when we don't, this is our problem. Before it was easier because we generated them and scored goals. But now it's not like that. Today we didn't score goals and we have to change. We have to defend better. And if you don't score a goal, it's more difficult to keep a clean sheet. It's not a defense thing, it's a whole team thing. Now we have to get back and reconnect. We have difficult games in La Liga, then the Dortmund game. So Flick explaining what's going on is that the team is just not converting. A, they're not creating as many chances, and B, the few chances they're creating, they're not converting them, and that's a big problem. Why? Because the way Hansi Flick's Barca play, the way Barca DNA plays is when you focus so much of your players on the attack, you are going to leave space behind and you are exposing yourselves to being scored on. But that's not a problem as long as you score plenty of goals. You can get scored on. That's not a big problem. That's Cruyffism 101. Cruyff never cared about getting scored on as long as you scored more than your opponent. But what's the problem right now with the team is we're still focusing all of our energy on the attack. We're still leaving space in the back, but we're not scoring. So what happens? You're leaving yourself vulnerable to being scored on. So you do get scored on, but you're not scoring. So now you're losing. You're dropping points. And again, being scored on is not a problem as long as you're scoring more. Now, Raphinha also had some words to say, which I gotta say ahead of before I even read it to you. I really, really liked what the Brazilian played. One of the very few players that can be said that maintain his intensity and has been, playing like he has been playing throughout the whole season. Every other player does not get to be excused or anything. Rafinha is probably one of the very few players who still has been maintaining his intensity. And this is what Rafinha had to say. We were bad in the match. We have to look at what we are doing wrong to try to improve and win games. We dropped the level of what we were doing, and this is complicating games for us. We have to keep working and improve. We have to turn this around and get back to winning again in La Liga. Again, we dropped the level of what we were doing, and this is complicating games for us. This cannot be more on the nose than what Raphinha just said, because I just did the post-match live analysis. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. And I said, the problem with Barcelona right now, it's not one player or that. It's not Iñaki Peña, who maybe should have saved someone a shot. It's not Hector Ford, who lost his mind. No, it's not the rest, none of that. The problem is that this is not the same team as the team that scored 4 goals against Bayern, as the team that scored 4 goals against Real Madrid, because ever since that week, this team has dropped their intensity, and this team has been playing like they have won a sextuple, and they no longer have to try. And Raphinha saying exactly the same thing. The team has dropped the intensity, they've dropped the level of what they were doing, and if the team wants to start winning again, they need to go back to what they were doing at the beginning of the season. Now, Raphinha had more words to say. He was asked, what did the team do wrong? He said a lot of things. They asked him, are you angry? Yes, very much. And he asked him about the banger of goal that he scored. He said, I don't care about the goal. I care about the win. We didn't win, and I'm not satisfied with the game. So Raphinha spoken like a true captain, like a true leader, calling things out like you're supposed to do, saying the team did not play well. We've dropped our intensity. We've dropped the level. This is why we're not winning. He doesn't care about his goals because all he cares about winning. And if we're not winning, what's the point of scoring all those goals? So wonderful words by Raphinha, who, again, one of the very few players who gets to be saved because he's one of the very few players who's still playing with the same intensity and at the same level throughout this whole season, and not like the rest of the team who for some reason think because they defeated Bayern, they defeated Madrid, all of a sudden they don't have to even try because they're just blessed by God and people are just going to hand them the victories. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about these statements. I did do the post-match live analysis. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go watch it. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, class.